Football is often shaped by the players you don't always notice. The ones who dictate tempo without flair, who control matches without headlines. Tijjani Reijnders, the so-called silent conductor, is one of them. Reports from David Ornstein and various analysts now suggest that Pep Guardiola has his eye on this midfield metronome. But why? What makes Reijnders a player worth watching? In this video, we'll break down Reijnders' playing style, evaluate why Guardiola could be targeting him, and show how he might fit perfectly into the ever-evolving system at Manchester City. In a footballing era where flair and flashy statistics often dominate the headlines, Reijnders is something of a throwback, a modern midfielder with a classical intelligence. At AC Milan, Reijnders has evolved into what you might call a possession-dominant connector. He isn't tasked with taking on defenders or spraying crossfield diagonals every 5 minutes. Instead, he focuses on continuity, receiving the ball under pressure, progressing play with short, sharp passes, and always positioning himself to be an option. According to the stats, he ranks in the 97th percentile for progressive passes among Serie A midfielders and 89th for progressive carries. That means he's not just recycling possession, he's actively advancing it into dangerous areas. What's fascinating about Reijnders is how he creates rhythm. He constantly scans over both shoulders before receiving, adjusting his body angle so that his next action is fluid. This small but essential habit is what allows him to beat the press, not with speed, but with forethought. He's also excellent at playing between the lines, particularly in Milan's 4-2-3-1, where he often drifts just behind the opposition's first pressing line to act as the link between defenders and attackers. When Milan are in possession, his touch map shows he's everywhere. The left half space, the centre circle, occasionally popping up as third man on the right. He's deceptively physical too. At 1.85 meters, he has the size to win 50-50s and the balance to hold off pressure. His 6.2 recoveries per 90 demonstrate a player who reads defensive transitions just as well as attacking moments. This season, at the time of this video, he has shown his attacking capabilities. He's been able to contribute to 15 goals across all competitions for AC Milan. On top of that, he's been also able to provide 5 assists, all of them being in Serie A, underscoring his dual threat in the attacking third. Reijnders' goal-scoring prowess is complemented by his remarkable shooting efficiency. He maintained a shot conversion rate of 22.86%, with 65.71% of his shots on target, indicating a high level of precision in front of goal. He has been described as the jazz pianist in a classical orchestra, understated, stylish, but always on time. This is a player that many are going to need to watch out for in the future. Now, trying to understand what Pep Guardiola wants in a player for his team is always a difficult thing, so I will try my best to explain it. From what we know about Pep Guardiola, his system hinges on positional play. According to the tacticos out there, this tactical approach requires every player to occupy specific zones that create space and disrupt defensive blocks. And for that system to work, you need midfielders who are able to be press resistant, have elite spatial awareness, understands third man runs and overloads, and last and definitely not least, and probably the most important one, knows when not to move and when to maintain shape. Now, this is where Reijnders excels. He has a rare understanding of space manipulation. Rather than constantly looking for the ball, he positions himself to enable others to receive it more cleanly. It's subtle, but it's textbook Guardiola. Pep Guardiola has always favoured these kind of players. Think Sergio Busquets at Barcelona, Thiago Alcantara at Bayern Munich, and Ilkay Gündogan at Manchester City. All of these players were intelligent, two-touch midfielders who understood when to accelerate play and when to calm it. Guardiola reportedly took more of a keen interest in Reijnders after watching Milan in the Champions League and Serie A this season, where his performances against high-pressing sides stood out. He showed the ability to break pressure, resist physical challenges, and never force a pass, traits that Guardiola absolutely values. There is also the practical consideration for this, with Kevin De Bruyne leaving, Gündogan, Kovačić aging, Rodri just coming back from an injury. Guardiola is trying to rebuild his midfield core. There are of course signs that he's already started that rebuild by signing Nico Gonzalez in the January transfer window. Reijnders could be another great addition for Manchester City, technically gifted, calm in chaos, and tactically disciplined enough to slot into Pep's system with minimal adaptation time. Now, looking at where he could possibly fit in Manchester City and Pep Guardiola's system, Pep has used multiple shapes depending on the match context this season. 3-2-4-1 with John Stones or another of the centre-backs stepping into the midfield, or a 4-1-4-1 used when playing against low blocks to maximise midfield control. Reijnders could fit into both. A 3-2-4-1, he could play the left-sided 3-8, the role Gündogan used to occupy. His ability to arrive late in the box, link play from wide areas, and recycle possession makes him ideal in that position. If Manchester City were to go with a 4-1-4-1 with Haaland up top, Reijnders could play as one of the central pairing ahead of Rodri, offering control when Kevin De Bruyne does leave, or a Phil Foden, who is of course still in the side, often likes to drift wide. I think it's actually important to note that Pep Guardiola is one of the most difficult managers to analyse, as his systems, you'd think that they were just made up on the spot, but there are of course a lot of thought and process that goes into this, but it does make it very difficult to analyse really accurately as to what exactly does Pep Guardiola want from his teams. He's constantly evolving, he's constantly changing the way his teams are playing from season to season, depending on the opposition and the competition in front of him. But I digress. The key tactical concept here for Pep Guardiola is overloading to isolate. Reijnders is excellent at dragging markers out of central zones. His subtle lateral movements and short wall passes help City isolate their wingers. Think Doku or Grealish in 1v1 scenarios. His presence in the team would also reduce City's dependency on Rodri, as we've seen this season. With Reijnders offering similar calm and control in build-up, Guardiola would have more flexibility to rest Rodri during congested fixtures. Finally, his mentality matches the City ethos. Reijnders is known for being humble, coachable, and incredibly tactically intelligent, the same attributes that made players like Joao Cancelo, Bernardo Silva, and Ilkay Gündogan such effective Guardiola players. Can he be another one of those? Now, Tijjani Reijnders won't necessarily top the goal charts. He might not always dominate the headlines, but if Pep Guardiola gets his man, Reijnders could quietly become the heartbeat of Manchester City's next chapter, an understated architect in a team full of stars. So the question now is, will the silent conductor take the stage at the Etihad, or will he continue crafting symphonies in Milan's red and black? Let us know in the comment section, guys. Is Reijnders the missing link in City's midfield machine?